what it is to be a project manager. Oftentimes it's being confused, and some people are in a place where they feel like, oh, do I want to take business? Is this what I want to do? I think, Brima, your slides, you stop sharing.
Oh, yes. Should I share from my end or from?
Do I go
Yes.
ahead and share? Okay.
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and share from my end. Do let me know as soon as you can see my slide, right? Can you see my slides? Fantastic. So I'm going to put it on. Okay. So today we're just going to look at what it means to be a business analyst and basically demystify it for you. There's a lot of English around it. There's a lot of clarity that people require. So I'm sharing my slides, so I might not be able to see the chat box, but just let me know if you have questions, drop them on the chat. I know that it's pretty late, but we're just going to get into it, right into it. Are we good? Okay, so
Yeah.
what are we discussing today?
Sorry, Ruth, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think we can see that presentation screen, right?
Okay.
It's still the PowerPoint normal display that we can see.
Okay, I'm
So
putting it on presentation. Is this better now?
guys, can we confirm this? But from my end, it's still the PowerPoint overview that we can see. All right.
Okay. All right, let me stop sharing. Or do you want to
Yeah.
share from your end? Let's see.
Oh, okay. Let me do that then.
Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, today we're going to keep it no fluff, straight to the point, very clear, and not too much English to confuse anybody or everybody, just so you get it. And we're looking at four key things today. We're looking at what does it mean to be a business analyst? What does it mean to be a project manager? And also, what are the differences when it comes to executing this role? So I have experience with both roles, and I can also tell you from my experience what the difference is. We're going to look a bit at industry benchmarks, and again, what do you need to do to move it to the next level, either as a BA or as a PM, right? So we're going to look at the definition. I think we can move on to the next slide. We're looking at the definition of a business analyst. It says the practice of identifying business needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. One key thing you must understand as a business analyst is you are there to offer value. As apart from intermediation between being able to clearly articulate what the business needs are to the developer or to the person building that solution. One thing you're also there to do is to add value, right? So it means that you have to take people's requirements, a business requirement, you take it, you look at it, identify what is existing, and identify what are the gaps in this process. A business analyst first and foremost is there to add value, to be able to give solutions. When you say, if you call something a solution, it means it's solving a problem. So it means you must be able to take a process, look at the inefficiencies in the process, look at the gaps in the process, look at the improvement areas in that process, and be able to do that by translating it to an automated solution. I would say here that largely in the world today, we see most business analysts work with digital solutions or converting a manual process to an automated solutions. However, there are cases whereby as a business analyst, it doesn't just limit you to being automating a solution. Sometimes you could review a process and realize it's redundant. And because it's redundant, you recommend that that process is put on hold. Or rather, that process is shut down. Because let me give you this scenario. So I heard of a a faith organization that was being built, and this organization was being built. So when they built it, they always covered the Holy Communion with cloth, right? So year after year, year after year, year after year, they just found out that you had to get cloth to cover the Holy Communion, even when there was AC, everywhere was locked in. And so somebody asked the question, why do we always use a cloth to cover this Holy Communion? Why? And they said they don't know. This is how it has always been done. And so the person was very particular and wanted to know the really real reason why. Why am I covering the Holy Communion, even though it's in a well kept, covered container and all of that? So guess what? The person does a bit of research and finds out that the time that they were building that space and utilizing it for their services, because of the dust and wind, that was why it was covered. So you find out that in organizations, you find out that people are carrying out processes not necessarily because of the value it adds, but because they picked up something that doesn't necessarily mean it's adding value to that process. Do you understand? So a business analyst comes in with the eye to see how you want to improve a process. That is one key value a business analyst brings to a particular solution. If you move on to a project manager, the project manager, you look at how the application of processes, skills, tools, and techniques to deliver project within scope, time, and budget. The holy grails of project management is scope. What is the scope of the project? What's the time to deliver the project? Ensuring that you're within budget, you're not having any budget overrun. Another thing that defines a project is that it has a start and finish date. Yes, there might be continuous improvement after, but again, a project is not business as usual. It's not something that runs concurrently. Every project, one key definition is that it has a start and a finish date. You're looking for scope, time, budget, and quality, right? And so we look at some examples is you have an organization where there's a supply chain and you're saying, why do I have to go to Sokoto to get raw materials, come back to Lagos, then go back to Sokoto again to get another type because I don't want it to stain each other? You can decide and say, no, that particular process is redundant. From sourcing of raw materials to the time where it gets to the manufacturing company, to the time when it gets to be ordered by customer, to the time when it's delivered. So you can look at it and say, how can I enhance the quality of this process? Again, value is what drives a business analyst. A business analyst is always seeking to know how to do things better, always researching. Now, if you go to the point of a project manager, the project manager's point of focus is to say, when is this project starting? Who are the people responsible for this project? How do I coordinate and collaborate to ensure that the project is executed on time, within budgets, within scope? What are the risks associated with carrying out this project? How do I come in to ensure that nobody drops the ball? So a project manager is a leader in that space. You are engaging everybody. You are engaging the business analysts to make sure that they've done the documentation and requirement. You are engaging the business owners to ensure that they've provided the information that the business analyst will develop on to improve that process. They're engaging the UI UX guy to say, oh, you gave us 1 week to make this happen. What is happening in the process? Are there any issues you are having? And they go and help eradicate those issues. So as a project manager, you're seeking to see, how can I help you do your work well for us to meet our objectives to deliver this project within this set time? You are ensuring that you are more or less like the manager. Let me use the word, a servant leader manager. Let me put it like that. You are checking everybody to make sure that nobody drops the ball, because you are watching within the timeline you have to deliver. You're watching between the scope you want. You also want to make sure that everybody is doing. If we say we're going to go to the moon, you're making sure that they don't just go to the sky and come back. You say no. The scope of this project, ensuring that everybody meets their objectives. That's the role of a project manager. The next slide, please. So now, what are the key responsibilities of a business analyst? And I think this is where you begin to identify which place do you want to play. Again, I will say this, some organizations, you might have to carry out dual roles of being a project manager and even a business analyst. So it's always good to have an idea of how everyone works. For a business analyst, primarily your goal is to gather requirements. So what do I mean by gather requirements? If I tell you I want something, I need to be able to understand how it is done currently, to be able to identify what are the issues with the existing process before I can identify solutions. Now, as a business analyst, nobody is expecting to know everything. That's why research comes in. You want to see if you're going to be automating or working on a process, or you are saying, how is this thing done in America? How is this thing done in Nigeria? How is this thing done? You do a lot of research. The research enhances the quality of solution you are offering to the business as the future process. So nobody's an island. So nobody comes with all the knowledge, but you must be patient enough to ask questions. Again, the 5 why technique works a lot for the business analyst. If somebody tells you this is how things are done, you don't just stop there. You ask why. The first why, ask second why, third why, fourth why. You'll be asking a lot of why until you get it. There are also tools you can use to understand how the existing process is done. You document that process, you look at it. Can this be better? Why do we have 10 people on this process? What is the value of 10 people to the process? Of all this value, can some of this be automated? You ask a lot of questions, because to be able to come up with a future solution that enhances the business outcomes. Remember, you do not develop a process because you just want to develop a process. No, there must be value. Are you reducing the turnaround time? Are you saving money by that process? Is it a regulatory concern that can make you find that organization? What is the value? Are you removing the number of people, reducing rather, so other people can do other things more valuable? So I've worked on projects, for example, where we've taken projects that used to happen in 2 weeks. We've worked on it and turned it to 3 hours. So it means all that time, that the remaining time, you can use it to do other things that are valuable and benefit the system. I've also worked on a lot of, as a business analyst, where there was income leakage. You automate a process such that those income leakages are reduced to minimum. There's so many processes like that. But again, to enable you be effective as a business analyst, you have to ask the question why. And you keep asking until you understand. Right? You also need to be able to communicate with your stakeholders. You're going to be dealing with different people depending on the organization you're working with, and the ability to understand each person's language. Some people do not have time to sit with you to document everything and say, this is how it is. Some people, you have to watch them. So the ability to be emotionally intelligent and understanding the best way to reach out to people. Some people is over lunch. Some people is in work environment. Some people, they want to be chilled. So you have to know how best to collect information, gather information from your stakeholders. And you must also be clear, what is the goal? What does success mean to my stakeholder? How does it relate to the value and goals of the organization as a whole? Because no individual unit is on its own. Every unit, department, organization, group have a goal that plugs into the overall organization goal. So you need to be able to identify what that is. For example, a unit in charge of making sure that revenue is collected, and they're having a lot of processes. If revenue is not properly collected, right, the organization loses money. And if the organization loses money, what happens? It reduces their profitability. So you must be able to find, how does this, because sometimes when you're analyzing processes, you'll be asking yourself, there is no value in this process. Why do we go ahead? So you don't always recommend we move ahead with a process. Sometimes the recommendation is to rethink that process entirely, or even probably change it, maybe because of the result of a policy. All right. So as I said, the goal is to meet the business needs. You don't build processes, services in isolation. There's a goal. And that's what the job of a business analyst is. So there's a use case here. In a fintech company, a BA identifies the gaps in the customer onboarding process and works with developers to implement a more friendly user platform. This is a real world scenario where you see sometimes to sign up on an app, you have to submit 500 documents, and you're like, all I just need to do is my BVN. With my BVN, let me go enter the app and see how it is. And if I just open my BVN, and I can ask the customer, if you want to proceed, you have to submit the documents in trickle. So it makes it easier than to say I have to fill a form of 500 pages because I want to sign up. When with a click of a button, you have my BVN, you have my NIN, and you can make it happen. So you could work on that's a process that you can work on. Check. I want to see if everybody is with me. If you're with me, can I say a thumbs up? If you can hear me, if you're with me, can I say a thumbs up? Okay, are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Fantastic. I can see a lot of thumbs up. Glad that you can hear me. So let's look at the responsibilities of a project manager. You are tasked with the goal of defining what the scope of the project is. Let me explain. Now, you can take a process and say, oh, I want to make it go to the moon and all of that. But your developer or your organization does not have the resource to implement that process. So you can say, you know what, we cannot go to the moon, no, but we can go to Abuja. And we will start by going to Abuja. Maybe in Abuja, there's now something else we'll do before we get to the moon, right? So the project manager, it's your responsibility to define what is the definition of success for this project at this time. What am I expected to do? 1, 2, 3 things we have promised the business. The project manager watches to ensure that that is delivered. So it's the scope of the project. The scope might not be exhaustive, but it is what has been agreed based on the available resources, the timeline, and even, the budget. So it's the responsibility of the project manager to say, come, we're supposed to deliver this, and we delivered this. You're supposed to also create plans. So you're the one that creates a project plan that says, oh, by 2 weeks time, we should have finished phase 1 of this project. By 4 weeks time, we should be almost done with phase 2 of this project. And on the 5th week, we should be handing over this project. So you're moving for the 5 phases: initiation, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, then finally close out. It's the responsibility of the project manager to ensure that everybody is on track to deliver. And if there are risks, you identify what the risks are. If people are saying, no, I'm having issues, I cannot do this, it's your responsibility to see how to remove those blockers, anything preventing your project from moving forward. If it's a resource constraint, maybe somebody was working on it, then he fell sick, it's your responsibility to get into that equation and negotiate with the manager and say, you know what, this person was doing this, but for us to do this, it's your responsibility to sell the project. It's your responsibility. If it's a physical project, for example, that you're having, and maybe say a government official comes and start causing problem on site. As a project manager, it's your responsibility to identify what they need even before you went to that site and make sure that that doesn't happen, right? You do proper stakeholder mapping. Who are your major stakeholders? What is the influence each stakeholder has? What do you need to do to ensure that each stakeholder is pleased? That's why you have your stakeholder metrics. So you monitor the progress. You identify what are the risks, right? And you document. You do lessons learned after. You do handover after. You validate that everything is okay. So a use case here is in a healthcare organization. A PM oversees the rollout of a telemedicine app across rural clinics. And funny enough, I had been in a project similar to this, right? So the idea is to make sure that each project is launched, all stakeholders are properly managed, everybody is on track to make sure they deliver what they're meant to do. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. So let's look at the key differences. We've talked a bit about the responsibilities, right? So let's look at some of the differences. So what is the focus of a business analyst? Aligning solution to business needs. value, deliver value to your business, the person that you are working for, the process, the service. You cannot overemphasize it like anything. Your role as a business analyst is not just to push papers and draw up flow charts, is to ensure that value is delivered. Meanwhile, the project manager is to ensure that the project is delivered, right? However, for the project to be properly delivered and to be within scope, you need to ensure that value is also there, right? But the person who is responsible for documenting those requirements, coming up with value additions to the process, removing inefficiencies, is the business analyst. Now, the scope of a business analyst is the processes. What are the existing processes? So you use two terms a lot in business analysts. As a business analyst, as is, that's the existing, and to be, what should be. You identify what is as is and what is to be. After you do a bit of research on what is, you always try to benchmark on what's the industry standard, what is the policy that guides this process, who has done it before, what were the mistakes they made, is that information available? If it's not available, you just keep trying. I see somebody's hands are raised. I think we'll be taking questions after, so I would soon be done. I can see a raised hand. Okay. Then what else? Systems. You need to understand the system upon which putting systems in place to ensure that that process itself is working, and there's a monitoring and a tracking mechanism. So there's always continuous improvement. So before, for example, if people wanted to go, let me even use cinema. I know people still go to watch movies in the cinema, but with the advent of Netflix, Prime Video, people can watch current movies, without, it's like a process improvement, even though some people have lost money. So you don't have to wait till a movie is shown in cinema, then you will watch it. There are fresh movies that come out of even the cinemas today. Before, there are many things. Before, you have to drive a manual car. Now nobody drives except maybe a racer and for the thrill of it. But you hardly ever see somebody say, I want to drive a manual car. Why do I want to be doing half suspension and all of that? Some people that just started driving, you never understand what that means. Like when you're on a hill and all of that. Things have gotten better, right? The first computers, we see how big they were. Now you just, with your palm, your mobile phone, it's a mini computer. The idea is that, so that's why you have to put systems in place to keep ideating. If you do not improve, you die. We see organizations as BlackBerry. Who knows BlackBerry? Can I see everybody's hands? Who knows what BlackBerry is? If you know BlackBerry, fantastic. Who knows Nokia? Fantastic. Some of the reasons why these organizations went extinct is because they were not improving what they had to offer, right? You could, I think at some point, was it the MD of Nokia or so was, talking about iPhone and maybe laughing at it. But hey, or was it BlackBerry head? Then I can't remember. What I'm just trying to say is you ideate or die. The role of a business analyst is to ensure that processes that are extinct remain extinct and are updated, to ensure that the life and services of the people within that organization is better, right? The ability for them to deliver processes to customers at a higher level is better. Remember, there's a time where you want to take a loan. It will take you months. But now there's some kinds of loan in 5 minutes, you already have access to those loans. What has happened? They have been able to build systems and processes that are meeting the current demand of people, what they call Indomie. We want it right now, right? So the project manager watches the time. You're very particular about time. You're particular about cost, quality, scope. Do you see? That's what a project manager watches. The interaction, everybody interacts with stakeholders and developers, QA, teams, same with stakeholders. The additional person that a stakeholder most likely will, a PM will most likely, interact with is the sponsor. So a sponsor is somebody that kind of like, as the name implies, your sponsor is the person that talks to the steering committee on behalf of that project. Depending on the scale of the project, is the person that defends that project, the person that goes to board or steering committee and is the fight advocate. Let me put someone like an advocate, is like your lawyer, is like, hey. So the project manager has to keep the sponsor on, like, informed with the highest information. So if, for example, it's a very large project and they want to pull that project down, the sponsors are the people that defend the process in the organization, because every organization has limited resources and many needs. So another person that the project manager or would have to, very importantly, is the sponsor of that project. You have to be on track with the sponsor, give them high level information if they want granular, depending on the kind of sponsor you're working with. However, your sponsor is like your, what they call it, like your person that will help you. Let me put it in simple terms. There's some tools that you use as a business analyst. There's Visio to draw your flow charts. There's Lucid charts. Again, I always tell people, don't be too caught up in the tools. The tools enable you to do your work. But if you have one tool that you're good at, you can try a bit of them. But in real world scenarios, get a tool that works, that's able to visualize what you want. Sometimes people use Figma, whatever the case might be. The idea is not just in the tool and the presentation, it's part of it. But the idea is the ability to really give value to your customer. So whatever tool you find that works for you, by all means. Some organizations even adopt a particular type of tool. So for example, for projects, some people use MS Projects, some people use Jira, Trello. Some people just even use regular Gantt charts, and they're good to go depending. But you know, Jira is such that you can, it gives alerts to people. You can schedule projects, responsible parties, and put timelines and all of that, and people are prompted. So it just makes your work a bit easier. But it usually works where it's a digital project. So if you're not doing a digital project, the probability of you sending automated alerts to people on site is a bit different. So you need to, again, identify the tool that works best for your exact scenario. That's what makes it efficient. Certification. So sometimes certifications help expose you to international body of knowledge, such that it enhances the quality of your thinking, and it also enhances how this is done professionally. That's why you have global standards. Global standards set you up for global platforms, global results. You're able to position yourself as a global leader. So that's why some of the time it's not just enough to carry certifications, but they sometimes expose you to a higher level of thinking that within your present climate you might not necessarily see. So that's if it is done the right way, and not that you just went to say, let me just have a certification, so I want to have it. No. If you really go to study for a certification, identify and interact with international materials, it does enhance the quality of the job that you have, because most of these bodies have something called a body of knowledge. It's where experts in that field have come together and say, okay, you know what, we've done projects across Africa and this is what we see. Across Nigeria, this is what we see. Across Asia, across Europe, and I think this is what would guide implementing. So it acts as a guide to implementing some of this. So certifications, we have CBAP, ECBA. The difference is the level of experience you have. For some of them, if you're starting up, it's most likely ECBA, but if you have some level of experience, they have a benchmark that you can go for your CBAP. There's the Agile Analyst certification. There's PMP. I think PMP is more of, I think America, Canada. Prince 2, I think, is more UK. Then you have Scrum Masters that also help to lead teams. Next page, please. So now we're looking at why do we want a BA? What's the relevance of a BA? So everything has to have, why do I need a BA? Why can't I just do what I'm doing? But we see from IIBA, which is International Body for Business Analysts, it says 70% of projects fail due to poorly defined requirements. So again, it's not just enough to bring a solution. The solution must add value. That's why the role of a business analyst is extremely important. You must see there are projects that you can do. You find out that you're saving millions. I've worked on projects that have saved millions. I've worked on projects that have made millions because of how efficient those projects were, processes were as a BA. the ability to analyze what is the gap, how do we make sure we implement. That sometimes you call everybody, you're researching across industry, what's happening? I want to see what's happening. And so this is just data to prove the relevance of a BA. And we see top companies like Amazon rely heavily on BAs for process optimization. Amazon serves let me just say the whole world, right? And the ability to have efficient systems can be the thin line between them being alive or the thin line between them losing money. When an organization bleeds for too long, they lose money and all of that. So the ability to have efficient processes is important. So yes, the work of a BA is highly relevant in the climate that we find ourselves. We see for the PM benchmark that PMI reports that organizations lose 97 million. If I dash anybody on this call 100,000, maybe just a percentage of that, you collect. But for every 1 billion, due to what? Poor project management. So it also shows that the value you bring, last year, so some organizations will set your benchmark of cost savings across different organizations. And as a project manager, one of the things you're also watching for is to ensure no, there's no project overrun. Every money is accounted for. One great skill you need as a project manager is negotiation skills, because you are managing people. You say, you know what, you're not going to be able to deliver when. If you deliver this, can you do this? I'll get someone to do. You are managing people to achieve an outcome. And so, yes, you can be the thin line between an organization declaring profit or not. So imagine if this organization invested this and the 97 million was supposed to be the profit. The organization's profit has already been rewarded. Why? But as a PM, your role is important. You are there to ensure that things are done appropriately, again, to meet organization goals. So we see that Google use agile PM techniques to manage a software project effectively, right? So top organizations require this. Most organizations are beginning to see the value that both the BA and the PM brings to the table to ensure that, again, organizational objects are not dropped and are met. Next slide, please. So now, how do you collaborate? So if you have a project and you have a PM, one, they align project deliverables with business needs. So it's not just enough to say, oh, you want to deliver this project. How does it meet the business needs? You see the work, you see the interchange there where they both work together. So I'm saying these are my project, this is the scope of my project. The scope of your project, does it meet business needs? The analyst comes in and says, oh, this is this, this is this, yes, this is it, and all of that. Again, you're both managing stakeholders' expectations. You all have your different kinds of stakeholders. You're optimizing resource allocation. In a retail organization, this is an example. A BA works on integrating a CRM system while the PM ensures its implementation within the set timeline and budget. So everybody has a role, right? And each role is vital and important for the success, overarching success of that organization. Next slide, please. So these are tools and framework. Like I said earlier, they're tools that enable you achieve your outcomes, and different organizations adopt different tools, and they pay for different tools. So identifying some of these tools, like for a business analyst, we see Lucidchart, Visio, Figma. For a project manager, MS Project, Trello, Smartsheet, Asana. We even also have Gantt charts to track, the milestones. While for creating process flows, you can use a Visio, you can do it. There are different BPM workflow solutions that you use that helps to give a representation of how the process would work. If I start here, how do I end? What are the detours on the process? If I want to rework, how does it work? The ability to chart that is a business analyst. You're mapping, you're doing process mapping. How should this process be efficient? And one key thing, sometimes when you look at a flowchart of an existing process, it helps you to also think through it and say, oh, this should not be here. Why is this here? Again, the ability to ask why. The way you ask why as a BA, you keep on asking why until you get the answers that will enable you improve the processes optimally. Right? And some of the frameworks, like I said, global standards, we have the BABOK. It gives you how the different stages as a BA, how we should be managed. Lean talks about Sigma quality control, optimization. You see all of that. For the project manager, you have the PMBOK, right? Is a major body of knowledge. You take what is applicable within your organization. It's global standards. You also have the agile framework. If you're dealing with a software company or a software solution, a lot of times we want to see value now. So that's the idea behind agile. What value can you deliver to me? Yes, I know that I want 500 things, but what can you give to me now? What part of this thing can I see now? Again, I always use this illustration. If I need a car, creating the tire of a car for me is not agile, right? What is agile for me is you give me a keke, or rather, this even two-wheeler, what they call those slides, because it can take me from point A to point B, even though it's not the best. Then you can now say, okay, now it's a keke. From keke, it cannot be a Toyota. From a Toyota, it cannot be, oh, no, I want the one that is flying. You have to say, oh, I want the one that is bulletproof. No, I want the one that has V8 engine, right? You keep improving on the existing, and that's agile. Not that you create tire of a flying car and you call it agile. No, the ability to deliver value. A lot of apps, I had one popular app, the first thing that the app could do was only to check balance or something like that. You couldn't do any other thing. All you just need to do on that app is check balance. But now you can pay for DSTV, you can transfer money to different people, you can pay for other things. But again, you deliver value. Oh, customers always want to check the balance. Okay, you check the balance. Oh, customers want to be able to transfer between themselves within the system, fine, to other people. So you just keep, improving on it, and that's agile. Gantt chart is basically a chart that shows what are the key milestones of this project, what are the tasks under them, what are the activities under them, what is the number of days assigned to the project, what is the timeline for this to happen. So a Gantt chart just basically gives you a pictorial representation of what it is you're meant to deliver. And it helps you say, oh, this thing is due so date. So you are following, something is going to be due tomorrow. You would have triggered an alert at least maybe 3 days before, depending on the kind of process. Some processes you trigger it way beforehand to ensure that, oh, are you on track to make sure? So before somebody finishes one side, you're saying, oh, after you finish this, you are doing this. Are there any things are there tools or are there resources that you need that you don't currently have to ensure that you have them before that day? So a project manager is proactive. What is the next step? As a project manager, you look at your Gantt chart and say, oh, the next step for this man to do is this. What does he need to do? Before that week comes up, yes, you're already asking the person, oh, yeah, you're scheduled to deliver this by the end of the week, and next week you're going to be needing this. Are there any issues you're having? Are there any blockers that are your way? So you are asking those questions because you are trying to make sure that your risk register that you are checking it to make sure that, oh, none of the risk has crystallized. If they've crystallized, what are your mitigation strategies? In simple terms, what have you put in place to cover for those risks? Those are some of the things a project manager does. Okay, next slide, please. So again, the skills you need: analytical thinking and problem solving. Again, we are delivering value as a business analyst. Strong communication and facilitation. You have to be able to facilitate. Sometimes people say, I want something, but they're not clear because they cannot really express themselves. So you're going to have to be able to facilitate discussions across a business group. This person is saying A, this person is saying B. Must be able to find a point of convergence. What's this person really saying? What do they really want? Right? Process modeling and documentation. You're able to document the processes, the steps, and all of that, right? A BA in an e-commerce firm analyzes customer data to enhance UX design. So sometimes you realize that at a particular process, people always drop when you get to that process. So the question is, and you're asking why? Why is it that when you get to that process, people always drop? You can now maybe identify that, oh, that particular page is about 10 pages of asking questions, that people get tired, their attention span is lower, so they just drop off. So you can say, why do we even need these 20 questions to be asked to the customer now? What value is these 20 questions? Can't we just make it 5 and later we say, okay, they want to fill it later. We prompt them, we give them reward. If you do this, you have a star. You know, you build applications with the user in mind, not just that, oh, I want to have all this information, this is what the business is. The business might want that, but you also want people to be able to use it depending on the scenario you're working with, right? A project manager is leadership, your skills. You need to be able to manage people. Again, you need to manage people. You need to lead people well to execute projects. You have to ensure that you are managing a team. You're more or less like a team leader, but you're also a servant leader in, with the agile manifesto, a servant leader and all of that. Risk, you must always check out what the risk, you must research what is the risk associated with this project and how can I solve for the risk before the risk crystallizes, before it comes to play, right? Stakeholders, yes, you're managing everybody, developer, BA, business owner, sponsor, steering committee, everybody that is involved that would one way play a part in the success of your project. And time management, you are the one checking for time, you're the one pushing people, you're the one encouraging people. Oh, this, we must not miss this, deadline is this, you're sending a lot, sending, you're on people's case, let me put it like that, to the point they're like, no, let me just give this person and let me move on. Real world example, a PM manages the development and launch of a redesigned website, right? So you're saying, oh, you have timeline, budget, scope, you do negotiations a lot. You need negotiation skill. I should have put that there. You need to negotiate. You need to be able to say, oh, this is this for this for that, it for that, and all of that. All to ensure that you're able to meet business needs. Next slide. Okay, so these are some of the certifications you might want to consider. Yes, certifications are great. They expose you to, global standards. So I encourage you to, identify which one, depending if they're entry level, intermediate, advanced, specialized, the different certifications available to you. And it does make sense to, especially you want to be able to, you're a global candidate, let me put it like that. And so sometimes to be able to speak at some of these places and tables, take a seat at these tables, you must have some level of interaction with global materials. Next slide. Okay, so how do you get involved? So we've talked about how, oh, this is a BA, this is a PA. First thing is to learn. There are a lot of courses, and I know that Amdari offers 10 analytics have some courses. Learn, get into the rooms where you can learn, get people that have done it, understand the methodologies, even though sometimes people mix in organizations, some people use agile, some people use waterfall, some people use hybrid. Keep learning, right? You take courses. You could also certify, like I had shared some of the certification courses, and interact with global material, elevate the level of your thinking, right? Practice. In everybody, there's something people don't know. People don't know that they have transferable skills. Every day, I think everybody at some point has to use some of those skills in their everyday life. As a business analyst, you're thinking for solutions. As a PM, you're planning Owambe party, you're planning something, your family, your birthday, your photo shoot. People are doing stuff, but they don't know that some of these skills require a lot, right? Intern, apply and register for internship programs to gain practical experience. I realized the power of internship, the power of, it does take you to the next level where you get hands-on experience. There's nothing like you doing something and say you've done it than somebody just thinking, I just have this certification. It's always good to have hands-on experience. And lastly, you need to network. A lot of the things that happens if you don't network with the right people, and don't just, some people say, okay, they come to organizations and they say, oh, I'm networking because no, you must also be able to bring something to the table. What value are you adding? So you become a person of value. So when you're also networking, the people see the value that you bring to the table and how we can collaborate. Collaboration is the new gold. You leverage on tools like I said earlier, and again, You keep updating your skills. The requirements of today's world keeps evolving. Solutions keep evolving. AI is here. You know, you must see how you're able to take advantage of the existing realities, brush up your skills, keep learning, and and that's how you become a better EA or PM. I think that's all for me for now. Thank you for listening. I'll be coming back again to take questions while we have Brima take over from now. Thank you very much.
All right, all right. So thank you very much, Ruth. So I know we have questions, we have clarifications that we want from Ruth. So she would be coming back on to take all of those questions while I do a brief presentation. All right. But before I proceed, did we enjoy her session? If you did, I need a reaction. I need a reaction. All right, all right. Awesome. So I can see our reactions. Coming back to my slide, the key points that Ruth mentioned that we should have as take home is what? Learn. You cannot underestimate the process of learning. Why? Because every day there's something new, there's a new innovation that you would need to learn. So you cannot be lacking in that area, because I am always of the opinion that is what you know, that's what you give out. All right. So if you have limited knowledge in an area, so that kind of exposure is not going to drop from heaven. No, right? It's from your wealth of knowledge. Then she talked about certifications, practice, and then intent. So guys, if you're currently on the call and you are worried about how you get access to the slides or the recording for this session, I only need you to fill the attendance form that is being sent to the chat. So you just need to click on it and then fill the form. All right, so you'll be good to go. So moving to my next slide, right? Okay, so where does Amdari come in? Now, one of the key points that Ruth mentioned is what? Learning. Okay, so now follow me closely, guys. I really need you to understand why at the beginning we emphasized on, oh, okay, the key differences between, let's say, business analyst and a project manager. So if you are currently here and you are still wondering, oh, what are the tech career skills that you need to learn that would help you get a job quickly, I need you to follow me closely. Recall I mentioned that Amdari, our goal is to close the gap between what? Between what you have learned, or between that foundational knowledge and what is required in the industry. But the very first thing, the very first foundational or basic step is you learning. So let's look at what tech career paths should you learn that would guarantee you getting a job quickly. So now this is a report that was done by the data team here at Amdari. We scraped jobs from these sites, that's from LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, and Google. And we had this analysis looking at three different criteria. That's the ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and a high and rewarding salary. So our goal was to, what are the tech skills that Africans, right, that entry-level professionals can leverage in this next century that will be crucial, that will be in demand. And from our research, guys, we noticed that what? Business analysis, being a project manager, data analyst, data scientist, data engineering, cybersecurity, financial, and HR analytics. So if you are currently in any of these tech career paths, either if you're a business analyst or a project manager, and I think I saw data scientist in the chat, or a data analyst. So trust me, you are currently on the right path. Now, guys, this is a report that we've done previously at Amdari. Okay, so when you are in the data analysis life cycle, you would always want to compare to existing benchmarks, right? So ensure that, oh, you're within the scope of reality, and then it's not just facts that you're cooking up. Now, this brings me to my next slide. This is a report that was published on the 7th of January 2025. So when you get the slides, that's when you're done with filling the attendance form, and then we email you the resources for this session. You can always click on this link to view this report. So this report is done by the World Economic Forum, right? So they give a detailed report as regards the job market, the job industry, and jobs that would be in demand alongside those that would decline. So guys, Just follow me closely. What can you see? We have data engineering, we have data analytics and data science, we have business analysis. That's one of the key explanations that we obtained today. We have what? HR analytics. Then moving to my next slide, guys, we can see project manager slash scrum master, project manager slash scrum master, and then we have the HR analyst and data engineer. So again, as I mentioned before, if you are in any of these career paths, so trust me, your industry is in high demand. So what you need to do is refine your experience, refine your expertise, all of the key points that Ruth mentioned as regards to your collaboration skills, you getting exposure, you working with team and collaborating with people, learning how to manage people, right? It's necessary that because you would be in demand, right, you need to develop those skills. Now, guys, this is just the value propositions that you would get being either a business analyst or a project manager. You can go for, let's say, roles as regards business analysis, a business systems analyst, an operation analyst. Then for the project manager, these are the kind of roles that you can go for. Again, you would be in demand in the next, that's from, this report was estimated from 2025 to over 2030. All right, so these are for the other career paths that we highlighted. That's being a data analyst, a data scientist, a data engineer, and this is also for cybersecurity. So if you are currently on this call and you are a cybersecurity analyst, so note, you would always be in demand because organizations would want to include a security infrastructure. They would want to work against attacks, any form of attacks, such as phishing or ransomware or all of the things that cybersecurity analyst does. But this is just emphasizing on the fact that you would always be in demand. Now, going to my next slide, you are on this call because you've either ventured into a tech career path or you are currently learning, all right? But the key question now is, if you want to thrive in the tech industry, right? We know we've established the fact and the context that you would always be in demand, right? But what is next after selecting a tech skill that is in demand, right? And after learning? Guys, I want you to follow me closely because it's necessary for you to have that baseline understanding of why Amdari is here, right? And why we are having these sessions to enlighten you that you can obtain that level of expertise if you do the right thing and you are currently in a career path that would be in demand. So this is a very interesting formula, right, that I want us to guess. Because if we're in a particular career path, I don't know about you, but the goal is to provide value whilst what? Making money. And we would always want to elevate to a next job offer or a particular organization that would give us both of those things. One, the ability to provide value, and then a good remuneration. So guys, what do you think T and E means, right? T plus E is equal to a job offer, right? I need us to send me a message in the chat. What do we think they mean? Can we guess? Can we guess? Can we guess? T plus E, use your collaboration or your negotiation skills, right, to guess the answer. Can we guess? Can I see will I say thumbs up if we do not know the answer? Guys, are we still on the call? Can we hear me? Hello? All right. So awesome. So can we guess? Somebody's saying, Edet is saying technical plus experience equal to job offer. Nah, that's close, but that's not there, right? So guys, coming back to my slides. Vusi is saying training plus what? What does the E mean? All right, so coming back to my slides so we don't take a lot of time. In simple terms, technical skills and experience plus the missing puzzle, right, is your employability skills. Your technical skills plus your employability skills, right, is what lands you that job offer. And this is all inclusive in the value proposition that we are offering here at Amdari. Guys, I know we have a lot of questions, right? I'll be wrapping up and then we'll have the time to take questions as regards for Ruth or for myself. But I want you to just follow me closely, right? So Amdari would give you the access to what? you getting technical skills experience and also the employability skills, because most times as tech people, we are usually about, oh, if you're a data scientist, I need to code. If you're a data engineer, I need to go and look at my database, I need to analyze, I need to build dashboards and all of that, right? But we fail or we neglect the employability aspects. And this all-inclusive is what Amdari is offering you, the only platform that guarantees you work experience whilst being inclusive of what these employability skills that you have been neglecting. So moving on to my next slide, what exactly is or are these employability skills that we are talking about that Amdari will be providing to you? So the very first one will be what your CV reviews and revamp sessions. So now, if you want to get that esteemed job offer, the very first point of contact you would have with a recruiter is via what? Via your CV. That's if your CV even passes ATS, right? So aside you doing the underground work of reaching out to them and then reaching out to the HR team on LinkedIn, getting accustomed to their processes, they would know or have a glimpse of who you are, right, via your CV. So we would offer you that at Amdari. Then you have your LinkedIn sessions. I say this all the time. If I go on Google and I search for your name, and then your name doesn't come up like a profile about you, if it's not LinkedIn, if it's, let's say, an educational platform, then that means there's something fundamentally wrong that you need to go back and look into. Now, we offer what? Navigating the job market session. So guys, your technical experience and skills plus what? The employability sessions that we offer at Amdari, right, would help you land that job offer either as a business analyst or a project manager. So I'm just going to run through them. We have the interview preparation session. Let's say you've applied for a job and then you want to, or you are in the phase of going for the interview. We have professionals that would hop on a call with you and speak to you about, oh, tell me about yourself. Tell me about a time you work on this project. Can you use the STAR approach? Can you use the SIT approach to explain a scenario? So we offer that at Amdari. Then we have the job. Just give me a moment, apologies. So we have the on-the-job support and we have also mentorship sessions. So now, guys, we offer a job reference letter. Let's say you've applied for a job also, and then they need evidence that you have a track record of being excellent. That's from a previous professional or from like where you've worked previously. We would stand in at Amdari and say, we have worked with this professional, right? They've gone through our processes. We can testify or attest to the fact that they have the skills and resources needed to thrive in this organization. So being part of Amdari, right, would give you access to all of this. And then we have what? We have the weekly mentorship sessions that I spoke about and on the job support. So guys, all of this is encompassive in the employability side of our formula. The technical skills experience plus what? Plus employability skills is what would land you that esteemed job offer that you have been eyeing. Now, the big question is, how can Amdari help me? Okay, so you are on this call either as a data scientist, a data analyst, data engineer, a project manager, or a business analyst. So let's go through step by step how Amdari would help you thrive. Okay, so now, guys, I need us to answer this question, right? A job or experience, which one comes first? A job or experience, which one comes first? Guys, I need responses in the chat. I need responses in the chat. I know we failed the last question that I asked, but I strongly believe, all right, I strongly believe that we'll get this one. Awesome. So I can see our responses from Edet and then from Sarah that says experience, from Edidion, from Vuzi. Exactly. And then most times, I don't know if we subconsciously do it. We aspire to perspire, but we don't take the necessary steps, right, to achieve that goal. Because when you come up to an employer, they would want to know, what have you done? They don't want a scenario whereby they bring you on a project or they bring you and then you have conversations with a stakeholder and then you cannot communicate effectively. Why? Because you lacked the kind of experience that is necessary for that role. So moving to my next slide, This is a report that was carried out by Generation. They are funded by HT Foundation. You can clearly see that what most entry-level roles require work experience. So nowadays they'll give you the joke that, oh, there's nothing like entry level again. Why? Because any job that you would want to apply for would require you to have what? They would want you to get experience. So we can see that most entry level roles require you to have experience that's between 1 to 3 years of work experience. So now, looking at the chart, what can we see? Only 6% require, oh, no experience level. 7% says at least 3 months of experience. And then we have the other 23% that says at least 6 months, right? Looking at the other side of the chart, we can see that entry level candidates, right? 49% were told that they lacked what? The years of experience or exposure, right? That's the reason why they did not get that role. So guys, I need you to follow me closely. Recall that I want to establish context of why or of our mission here at Amdari. So follow me closely. There are two scenarios of these people, right? So it's either this person is, let's say, a recent graduate, like looking at the analogy that I am giving on the screen, right? This is Amina. She recently just graduated or relocated for her master's and currently needs a job as a data analyst now. She has been receiving loads of rejection email because she lacks relevant industry experience. Now, moving to my next point. This is who? Moses. This guy has paid for several certifications, boot camps, online courses, has access to free resources, but still cannot land an entry-level role. So there are two scenarios. It's either you are pursuing your educational degree or you fall into the bracket of those that are learning and learning and learning and learning, right? Because sometimes I ask, when are you going to stop learning? When are you going to practicalize each of these concepts that you have learned from the foundation? And guys, that is what Amdari would give you, right? We offer what we call the Remote Apprenticeship Virtual Experience Internship Program, right? So it's not a mouthful, it's called RAVE. So we give you access to what? To work on projects, right? Plus this employability skills, and that would revamp you to being a what? An outstanding professional. All right. Again, project-based experience plus your employability skills would result in you being branded as an outstanding professional. And how do we do this? I need you to follow me closely. So we have partners with us, right, that have noticed this gap in foundational knowledge, that's between foundational knowledge and what they use in their everyday life at their industries, at their various organizations. So what we do is we go to our partners, all right, we get the problems that they are facing, right? We get the issues in their daily activities, the processes they are involved, and then we take those problems, we take those issues, we take those challenges and bring them to you as an intern working with us at Amdari. So when you sign up for our remote apprenticeship virtual experience program, right, you would be officially interning with us either as a project management consultant, as a business analyst consultant, and either as a data engineer or any of the career paths I earlier mentioned. Recall, our sole goal is closing the gap between what? Between what you have learned foundationally and what is expected in the industry. So we take these challenges, we bring them to you, right? We assign you to teams, there are individual projects, there are team projects where you would have to collaborate, you'd have to communicate, you have to enhance or develop all of those skills that you thought you did not have, but they were there. They just need to come to light, right? So you would work on this project, all right? You would get to learn and you would present your solutions to this project, and we take these recommendations back to our business partners so they can implement. All right, again, we have business partners, we get the issues, we have to include a certain level of anonymity, right? So you will not know the particular organization. All right, so we get these issues, we bring them to you, and then you work on real world scenarios that these guys are experiencing in their day-to-day activities. Okay, so you, in the process of doing your research, in the process of reaching out to other organizations, in the process of you looking up, oh, what strategies can I utilize? What can I do? What should we do? Collaborating with your team members and then devising a solution to this problem. That is how you acquire this experience that is missing. All right, so you can see the strategy that we are utilizing, the values that we are offering here at Amdari is to close that gap. And guys, another thing is you have the liberty to what? Add these projects to your portfolio as your evidence. Again, the reason why persons are not getting roles is because what? They lack that evidence. There's no stamp, there's no track record of this is what they have done. This is what they can contribute to an organization they are applying for. And by so doing, guys, you would be what? You would be building your portfolio, right? You would be able to talk about this experience, because there's one thing for you to learn something theoretically, right? And then there's another scenario where you had a hands-on experience. You will be able to speak effectively from experience, guys. And again, you get to add this to your CV. All right. And then you get to stand out as a professional. So, guys, again, another value proposition is you get access to an exclusive job board. So naturally, instead of you to go to each of these individual websites to apply for a job or a role, once you sign up with Amdari, you would get to do what? You would get access to this platform. I will be showing us that, right? And then we'll see an overview of how you can just easily apply for jobs at Amdari. So moving to my next slide again, you would get access to an exclusive portfolio. So instead of you having to reach a developer, go through the stress of trying to pay for your portfolio, pay for them to host, getting them on the project, Amdari offers this to you when you register. And guys, again, the goal is to revamp and rebrand you to be an outstanding professional, an outstanding experienced professional, so you can what? Stand out in the tech industry. If you're a project manager, a business analyst, a data scientist, a data engineer, regardless, Amdari is offering a solution, right? So we combine project-based experience plus the employability solutions that we are offering here to rebrand you. All right, so you get to work on real world projects, you get to collaborate, you work with cross-functional teams, you get to network with people. And in terms of employability, you get what? Your CV sessions, right? Where we bring a professional to come speak to you, your LinkedIn optimization session, your mentorship session, career sessions, interview preparation sessions, on the job support, and a reference letter. Guys, you get access to 2 years of reference letters, right? Amdari is currently registered in Canada, so you will be getting what? An international job reference letter. So guys, I'm just going to share this screen, right? So you can see one of the projects that we are offering here at Amdari. I believe you can see my screen clearly. Again, recall I mentioned that this is a project-based experience. So we get these projects from our professionals, our consultants, our partners. We bring this project to you and we offer you the ability to collaborate. You work with the dev guys, you speak to them, the UI, UX designers, the BA. If you're a project manager, you have to collaborate and speak with your stakeholders to know, right, what exactly are the requirements, all right, like Ruth was giving us the key responsibilities. Okay, so this is one of the projects. If you notice, this is the Google Classroom for a current course that we are running here at Amdari, right? So this is a project that they are currently working on. So this team, they would have to collaborate with the developers, right? Like Ruth was writing, saying you need to learn how to manage people to ensure that the timeline for that project is achieved. So you can see this is an AI recruitment platform designed to bridge the gap between job seekers and employers. So you'd have like a detailed business overview, you'd have a business problem, you'd have, okay, the user persona, so you can effectively research for, oh, what are the requirements? What is expected? What does this business need, right? So as a BA, that would be your own responsibility, right? So you would need to be meticulous about this process. So when you now get to the aspect of implementation, okay, right, you would be able to contribute effectively to the success of that project. All right, so you can see the MVP expectations, that's minimum viable product, then futures of job seekers and all of that. So this is a very detailed overview of the project that you are working on. Again, a project-based experience. So you're not coming to learn from scratch. No, right? You know, at the beginning of the call, I was asking, what are you into? What have you been learning? What foundations do you have? You are coming straight away to work on projects alongside the employability propositions that we would be giving you at Amdari. So I'm going to share this tab again, right, to just have an overview of our portfolio. You know, I spoke about a job board and then a portfolio. So this is my dashboard, right? When you sign up for the Amdari internship experience program, you'd have access to all of this. It's part of your package, right? When I click on my job board, first of all, right? So I can just come here, enter a location, and then enter the particular role that I am looking for. What do you see? This was fetched 2 days ago. Okay, so you have access to refresh and apply for jobs. Guys, apply for jobs. So you can see a project manager, a construction manager / project manager, a senior IT project manager. And guys, it is based off your experience. During your employability sessions, we'll teach you how to leverage the past experience that you have, right, to applying for these roles, because you don't just send in your CV, right? You have to tailor it to ensure that it passes ATS for that particular role. All right, so coming to my portfolio, give me a moment, let this load, and then I just click on my portfolio sites that I showed on my slides. What can you see? This is my portfolio, right? I'm Esegina Barima. I'm a data scientist from Nigeria. These are the years of experience, tools, projects completed. This is about me. And guys, you get all of this by just filling a form. So I can just click on this now. If I want to edit this, I'll just have to enter like a new input and then update my profile. All right, so I get an overview of the particular tools that I used, and then my skills. I have an overview of what? Of my experiences, okay? And then if I want to communicate this with a professional or a recruiter, all I need to do is click on what? Share. Copy this link and send to them. Guys, recall that I mentioned we work on a project-based scenario. Okay, so what you would need to do is what? Take your experience, right? Work on projects. Get that, because you are getting what? Real world experience. During that process, you would get to what? You would get to learn, you would get to communicate, you would get to collaborate with people, and you would be getting that level of expertise that is needed as a 21st century or as an outstanding what? Professional. So coming back to my slides, just give me a moment. I think my slides went off. So guys, are we excited about what Amdari is offering? I know we have a lot of questions. We'll be taking questions very, very soon. I'm about rounding up. But are we excited about what Amdari is offering? All right, confirm you can see my slides. Awesome, awesome. So my slides are back. So I've given us a demo of you will be working on projects, strictly projects. We are not coming here to teach you that, oh, okay, this is what you would. Yes, we'll provide you mentorship, right? We have a dedicated professional that when you have issues, when you have challenges, you can communicate with them during your sessions, right? But you are coming strictly to work on projects. And then again, working on projects would stretch you. I'm not going to lie, right? Because if you don't know a particular tool or right, a particular concept, you'd have to research, right? You have to read about it or watch videos about it. And the cool thing is we'll provide you with those resources that you can utilize, right? That would fast track that process. So in all of this, the goal is for you to become a technically competent professional alongside the employability package that we are offering. Also, coming back to my slides, we run this virtual experience program, and then we have a course that is starting on the 8th of February. All right. And all of this packages, they're going for $600, but we are currently running a discount, and the discount is for $450. And the interesting thing is, with all of these values that we are offering you, your 6 months virtual experience, in terms of your access to the remote job board, access to the online portfolio builder, your international work reference letter for 2 years, access to employability sessions, access to the CV, the LinkedIn, and the career coaching sessions. You have the liberty to pay up to 5 monthly installments at a stretch. So you're not just paying the entire $450 once. No, right? You're paying as low as $90 to get started. And this is only if you lock in the discounts that we are currently running. All right, we offer this virtual experience program across data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, business analysis, project management, HR analytics, financial analytics. So for each of these programs that we are offering, right, when I go back to the Google Classroom, all of the projects, they get to work strictly on projects. And when you click on this link, right, it takes you directly to this tab. Okay, so you'd see an overview of, do you want to chat with us? Because there are some persons on this call and then they would need clarity on how to proceed. We have something known as a one-on-one clarity session where we jump on a call and then we speak to you about, oh, okay, what is your next line of action, or what do you want to know about Amdari? Do you need clarifications on this? And we provide you with access to all of that. Okay, so for example, I would want to register for, let's say, let's use, business analysis internship. I click on reserve a seat. All right, so this loads up. Apologies, I believe I have a bit of a lag. So this loads up, and then I can select the currency that I have, right? So if I want to retain this as USD, or I want to leave this in Naira, or I have another currency, all you have to do is select, and you get the liberty to pay for 5 installments. So you're not paying at a go. So all you have to do is to just click on this and secure your internship, right? And you would get access to all of this, that's what that Amdari is offering. So guys, I know we have a lot of questions. I know some persons have been piling up their questions from the beginning, right? So this is where we take your questions and then we'll provide answers to that. So Vusi is saying, I'm from South Africa. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So the interesting thing is we have persons from Canada, we have persons from the UK, we have persons from Nigeria, we have persons from Cameroon joining in our sessions, in our internship experience program. The goal is for you to get what? Exposure, right? The sole goal is for you to come in with us. You're coming to learn, right? When I get to speak with interns during their onboarding sessions, I tell them that you're coming to learn, you're coming to acquire value, right? From our end, we are providing you all of these steps, all of these resources, all of these coaching sessions, but you have to be responsible. You have to take it up that I would make good use of this. And trust me, right? If you've joined our previous sessions, we've had current interns come to speak about their experience, come to speak about, oh, I was applying for this job, or I was applying for my master's, and then I had to get a reference letter, and that was what solved my problem, right? Because they needed an evidence or a track record of this is where I have worked, this is what I have contributed to, these are the projects that I worked on. All right. And then again, this is entirely virtual. So we have professionals, we have consultants, that's what we call our interns, right? A project management consultant or a data analytics consultant. They are currently enrolled with us. And these guys are working professionals. So what we do during your onboarding session, we get to understand the demography of persons that we have. We get to understand your current experience level or your schedule, and then we find an intersection, right? So this is when you'll be having your stand-up sessions. This is when you'll be having your meetings to collaborate on this project, to decide on what the next line of action is. So guys, again, if you have not filled the attendance form, right, for you to get access to the slides and then the recordings for this session, ensure that you do so, because we'll be wrapping up very, very soon. So do we have questions? Are we excited about what Amdari is offering? I need a reaction if you're excited about what Amdari is offering. I need a reaction. Guys, Awesome, awesome, awesome. So do we have questions? Do we have questions for myself or for Ruth? This is the very best time for you to send in your questions so we can take them, right? And you would be good to go. So hi, Antonia. A good evening to you. Antonia, you're muted if you're speaking. Exactly. Technical. I can see the responses from previously. Technical plus experience is equal to job offer. I'm sorry, no. It's plus employability. Antonia, can you speak now?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So my question is on this internship. This what you talked about. My area of interest is in project management. I'm presently a student with Learning People Academy here, but I
Okay.
don't want to know more. I have 3 exams to do. I've done 2 Agile PM and
Okay.
PPFQ. I've done that, but I want to really learn the job very well. So this internship you're talking about, after if I'm to join this Amdari now, am I going to have any certification, or is just the internship to learn the job? Please, that's what I want to understand. Thank you.
All right. All right. So thank you very much for that, Antonia. So we would offer you, right, a certification that you have completed your experience here with us at Amdari, but that's different from the certifications that Ruth was listing out, right?
Okay.
All of those exams that she mentioned that you have to write, right, that will give you an added exposure on an international level. Okay, so what Amdari would offer you is the technical side.
Okay.
You coming straight away to work on projects.
Okay. That's fine.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, you're welcome. So while she mentioned while you getting certifications is awesome, that's fine and good, right? You getting that hands-on feel of how you would communicate with your team members, how you would manage projects, how you would excel, right, as a project manager is what a very, very necessary factor. Okay, so guys, we have a course starting what on the 8th of February, and this discount lasts until Sunday. Okay, so this discount is ending on Sunday. So we need you to lock in the discount and utilize the proposition that we are offering here at Amdari. So do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions?
Hello,
Yeah, hi.
my name is Etu Bidiel from Liberia.
No, awesome. Nice to have you on the call.
Okay, so I missed out the 2 meetings point, and I was opportune today to be on this one. All right, I have a degree in mass communication and a diploma in public procurement and a certificate in IT courses. And giving up the information and backdrop of Amdari, I thought it was to join this group to see how best I can fit in when it comes to employment. So I don't know, but this is my first meeting, like I said, so I don't know whether I can get a recap to see how best I can get myself fitting into to to get prepared for other courses that Amdari will be offering that will prepare me for
All right.
the employment
All
process.
right. All right. All right. All right. So thank you very much for that question. So what I would want you to do, I want you to sign up for the clarity session. So we have something called the one-on-one clarity session, right? So my colleague will be sending in that link to the chat so we can have a clear discussion with you, because this is like a general session, right? We will need to understand what has happened previously, right? What are the current steps that you have taken in detail, okay, and what's your next level is. So from all of that, we can now deduce and give a recommendation of how Amdari can support you throughout that process. Okay, so when you also go to that link, you can chat with us, right? Or you can just book in that session, right? And we would have that conversation with you. Okay, so does that provide clarity?
Okay, all right, thank you. All right.
All right. So I would want you to do that now, right? So we can um keep you along the line. Okay,
Okay.
awesome. So guys, do we have more questions? Do we have more questions? So do we have more questions for Ruth or for myself? Do we have more questions? Because okay, so I have Antonia again.
Hello, sorry, I'm asking again. Please, I want to know how long the internship program will take.
All right, so we run this on a 6 month basis. So during these 6 months, you get to work on projects, right? And then you get to collaborate. So it would span for 6 months because we want you to be ready. And then again, you don't need to wait till the end of the 6 months for you to apply for jobs. No, 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 no. We don't do that here at Amdari. So we give you access to the job board from the go, and then you get access to all of your employability sessions where we teach you how you can refine and package and tailor your CVs, right, to applying for this job. So it is during the 6 months process that you get drilled in terms of what your technical competency. Okay, but from the go, right, you get access to all of this. Okay, so I believe that provides a clearer, let's
Picture,
say,
yeah.
answer to that question.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
So we'll be looking to having you join us at Amdari, right? All right, so guys, do we have any more questions for myself or for Ruth? Do we have more questions? Do we have more questions? If not, we would be calling it a day. Let me also mention that Endeavor, you need to fill the attendance form, right? Because I can see questions as regards how can I get access to the slides? How can I get access to the recording? Right? All you need to do is fill in the attendance form. Again, this discount for the first set of persons, right? Initially it was 20, but I believe it's even less than, right? Because from the updates that we've been getting, this discount is ending on the 26th of January, right? This discount has been running for the past weeks and is at $450. And you get the liberty to pay this on a 5 month span. So you don't need to pay all of the $450 once. You can start with as low as what, $90, and you get access to all of the values that we are providing to you as a project management professional, as a business analyst professional, or each of the career paths that we have listed here. So Antonia, I would have you again. You're
Okay.
muted if you're
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Please, I want to ask Ruth a question. A question
Oh,
for
okay.
Ruth, please.
All right, all right. So you can proceed with your question.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth, for the lecture. I want to know about more about agile project management. You talked about it. So, as an agile project manager, what are your career opportunities, and where are your area? Like, where are you likely to work as an agile project management student or holder?
Okay,
Yeah.
so the term agile is a frame that is used as one of the frameworks that guide how project management is run. So you can find out that you can implement some of the value system of agile. Agile has 4 values and 12 principles. So you could implement it across any organization where you have to deal with projects. However, a construction organization, for example, no matter how much you want to implement agile, you must lay foundation before you build roof, right? However, in software industry, you find out a lot. Anytime you are dealing with software development, agile is one of the frameworks that guides development of the solution. We prefer to offer value now till the end. We keep offering values in iterations. So usually, as in when you're having organizations that have to do a lot of development of software, but again, it's not just limited to a software company. It could be a bank, it could be whatever organization that uses a tool to enhance their business outcomes, right? And yeah, so everybody, as far as you use an app, you use something that will serve a need. Agile can be used.
All right,
Thank
right.
you.
So Okay. Thank you very much, Ruth. Thank you very much. Anthony, I believe that answers your question. So, guys, I believe that was Edel that spoke about that we concluded on you joining in for the clarity session. So the link has been sent to the chat. I would need you to click on it and then just send in a confirmation if you have. Okay, so Sunday, I would recommend you to book a clarity session because you spoke about time zone constraints. So what we do, I earlier mentioned is when you sign up with us, right, you would fill a form that would take into consideration your details, right? So your location, right, your current experience and all of that. So we would know how to tailor our program to your own time zones. All right. So again, recall I mentioned we have persons joining in from Canada, from UK, from Cameroon, from Nigeria. So we find an intersection, right, for your stand-up sessions, for your mentorship sessions, for your meetings that would not be a constraint, all right, to you. So you get to participate, so you get to learn and be involved with all of the programs and all of the sessions that we offer at Amdari. All right, so Sunday, Osuku, I would need you to click on the link and then book a session with us. Again, guys, if you're currently on this call and you have not filled the attendance form, right, ensure you do that because we would send an email with the resources, that's the slides and the recording for this session. So do we have any questions? I'll give a while to fill in the attendance form before we call it a day. So I need a reaction if you got value from this session. I need a thumbs up or any of the reactions that you want to use if you got value from this session. So you don't need to go and Google the difference between business analysis or project management again. I believe Ruth did a very, very intensive job, right, in listing out the disparities between the two. And we are looking forward to having you join us here at Amdari. So Antonia, I would need you to click on that link and fill the attendance form also so we can reach out to you as regards how you can proceed with Amdari. So guys, we've come to the end of the session. I would give some time for us to fill in the attendance form or use the booking link, right? Again, recall that Amdari is here to help you, right? To assist you. That's our mission. We are revolutionizing the way people acquire industry experience. So you're not just another random individual who has learned the basics, but rather you are technically competent. You have that experience, you have that exposure collaborating with individuals, right? And you would get what? You would be an outstanding professional. Okay, so guys, I would need you to fill in the attendance form and then book a clarity call with us so we have the opportunity to speak to you on a one-on-one basis and understand your demography or your current status so we can provide you with recommendations. Okay, so we've come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Ruth, for the value you gave us. Thank you to everyone that stayed to the end of the call. It was nice having you on this call, and we look forward to seeing you in subsequent sessions that we would be having here at Amdari. So cheers and have a good evening. So I'll just give a wow. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for the knowledge that you
Much,
dispensed.
everyone. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be here. We look forward to seeing you inside the Amdari program. Thank you, everyone, again for being a phenomenal class. Bye.
All right, bye. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. That will be all. I'll just give you a while for you to fill the attendance form or use the clarity session link if you have not. So cheers and have a good evening.